Many, many congratulations, Emma, on achieving your goal of running the length of New Zealand in 21 days. It's just insane, and just cannot believe that you conquered this, and smashing the world record as well. It's just incredible. It would be great to know what gave you the inspiration to run the length of New Zealand.
So I'd actually been planning this run for 4 years, and so originally I was planning on running the length of the UK, but I was living in New Zealand. So then just logistically trying to get to the UK and doing it whatever time of year, it just seemed really impossible.
Yeah.
But then living in New Zealand, thought, well, why don't I just make the opportunity happen in this most beautiful country in the world? Yes. So yeah, decided to run the length of New Zealand instead. And at that point, nobody had a Guinness World Record for doing the run. So I applied for the world record.
Okay.
And then within a few months of that, I got a leg injury that continued for 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And it's only just been the last year and a half I've been back to running and got back to full fitness. So I thought now is the time to do it.
Incredible. How did you go about your preparation for the event?
So lots of training, obviously. So my training had a whole bunch of different aspects to it. So there was strength and conditioning, obviously super long runs, but there was also shorter, faster runs and some speed training as well.
Yeah.
But that part of the training, that was only a small part of what I was doing towards the run. So I also had to really work on my nutrition plan. I did a 2-day practice of 100 kilometers a day. I think it was like September or October, so a few months before.
Yeah.
And the nutrition plan that I thought would work was a bit of a flop. So then that was like, start again, let's completely do something different. So lots of working with my diet and seeing how I can eat and manage to run 100 kilometers a day. Also testing out all the equipment, because you don't want to be attempting to run 100 kilometers a day and realize actually these trainers are really sore on my feet.
Yes.
So getting all the right kit, working with my podiatrist to get orthotics that are right in my shoes. We were very, very lucky that we borrowed my partner's parents' camper van. So yes. Figuring out where we can put everything in the camper van and what we need to take, and then also getting my face slapped over the side of the camper.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so much involved in the preparation for this, and obviously looking at the maps and trying to find like how can I get the quickest way from A to B.
Yeah.
Contacting people, runners and cyclists all over the country and saying like, do you have any tips of how I can get from here to here? Are there any cycle paths that I can take? Just so
it's
much.
A huge amount of preparation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You really have to do all of those things, because, as you say, it's making sure that not only you can get through there safely, it's your support crew as well, who are either on a bicycle or running alongside you or in a vehicle. So you've got to sort of do a huge amount of planning. How were you feeling in the days before the event? I was seeing you in the van driving up to where you were starting from, so that must have felt a bit surreal, sort of almost driving quite quickly in the opposite direction to the way that you were going to be running.
Yeah, and I was thinking at the time when I was driving, I was thinking I'm going to like take a mental note of what the roads are like and if they're hilly and if they're this and that. But by the time you get there, you've completely forgotten.
Yes.
I had no idea. But yeah, it was cool to drive up, because I've never really explored the North Island. So even just having that drive was really cool.
Yeah, really nice. And then and on the morning of the event, how were you feeling?
Oh, so I don't know if you you do remember I said about having the blessing that I had from the local iwi, and I was just super nervous about that, because so they say their blessing and then I have to give them a koha, a donation for the local people. And when I present them with the koha, I have to make sure that I'm only walking forwards. You can't turn your back to the person. So if you walk forwards, you place it on the floor, and then you like walk backwards so as not to be rude. And then you have to say some words yourself. And I was just so stressed about that. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I had to run 100 kilometers that day.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I don't want to mess this up because this is such a special moment. Like, they're making an effort to come and bless my journey and wish me all the best and offer me safety. So I was like, I don't want to do something culturally inappropriate and embarrass myself. And that was all I was worried about. And then as soon as that was done, I was like, right, okay, let's run. The thing that I'm good at, the thing that I know what I'm doing with. So yeah.
But that must have been a beautiful moment, just in terms of how important it was in terms of the culture and just very special. What for you was the toughest part of the 21 days?
Yeah, so I've been asked that question a few times, and I think when people ask it, they're expecting kind of there was like a moment that was really tough, or a particular day, or a particular incident. But actually, the toughest thing about the whole event was the noise of the traffic and the almost kind of fear on a daily basis of being on the roads. So it's kind of hard to describe it and compare it to the UK, because obviously in the UK you've got huge motorways, but imagine like the M5, the M6 being like the main pathway through the UK. Like State Highway 1 that I ran on is the main pathway through New Zealand. But obviously New Zealand has a much smaller population than the UK. So, it wasn't the same as running on the motorway, but it was the main pathway that goes through New Zealand. So it's busy all the time. Sometimes you have kind of a shoulder at the side of the road that's maybe 2 meters wide. Sometimes it's 6 inches, So at the beginning, the first week, I had a cyclist riding behind me. So I was running on the same side of the road as the traffic. We were all going in the same direction. But then after the bike got destroyed in a car crash, then I was running towards the traffic, because that's legally the side that a pedestrian is supposed to be on, so that you're facing the traffic. And also it felt safer being able to make eye contact with drivers when they're coming towards me. So the toughest thing about the whole entire challenge was just being on the road with all of the drivers, like all of truck drivers, camper van drivers, cars, everything and everyone, all over the Christmas holidays. That were just, it was the sheer noise, and the proximity, and not being able to take my eyes off of them either was like quite mentally draining. So that was by far the toughest thing about the whole event.
You were saying earlier that a challenge like this is 90% mental challenge. How do you find your mental resilience to cope with a challenge like that? How do you keep mentally strong?
Yeah, I think there were quite a few different things that I was doing on a daily basis, some that I was conscious of and some that were just happening without me being aware of it. A lot of it was being present, just focusing on the right now. I kept having to say to myself, a lot of the time, like a little mantra that I was saying to myself was just do the best that you can do right now. So if that is walking, then you walk. If that is jogging, then you jog. If it's running, then you run. But just do the best that you can do right now. If at any point I started to think about the future, about the next however many days that were left, it's just too big. It's too big to comprehend. And, if you're feeling stressed because of the traffic and you think, oh, I've still got to do 18 days, for example, with that traffic, it's just too much. You can't think about that noise and that like torment inside your head for that long. But just to think, this is what I'm doing right now. And if I just want to walk for right now, or if I want to just sit at the side of the road and just relax for right now, that's okay, because that's the best that I can do. And all you can ever do is the best that you can do in that moment. So I just kept saying that to myself over and over. And by the time, you've thought that, and then you're like, okay, well, I'll start jogging now, and I might start running, and, time would disappear. And then you get to the end of the day and the day's gone. So
it's like the saying, isn't it? Take each day as it comes. Deal with one problem at a time. But it's incredible how you've managed to sort of being able to focus on that as well, I think, during such an epic event and with so much going on around you. So you were just saying there about having injuries during the event. I think you hurt your ankle as well on either the second or the third day. So what toll did this have on your body? And again, a lot of people, you know, have an injury. It's like that I'm done. You know, how did you sort of manage that, and what impact has it had on your full body?
So this is the first big event that I've done on the road, and I'm pretty sure it's the same in the UK. That at the side of the road there's quite a camber, so the middle of the road is quite flat, and then the sides are quite cambered down to the side, and that has just been horrendous on my body. Like, I actually think just 100 kilometers on a road is quite terrible for the body because it's so hard, the impact. And also, you know, if you're running on a trail, it's quite undulating and your body's doing different movements all the time, whereas on the road it's just the same thing. So that camber at the side of the road has really damaged the right hand side of my body. All of the injuries were on the right hand side of my body, from the very bottom of my toes to up to my hip. It was all that side. But yeah, so at the end of day 2, I didn't even realize that I'd injured myself, and I took off my shoe at night, and then my ankle just blew up, just got inflamed. And I was like, I don't even know what I've done. Like, I haven't hurt myself, so I don't know why this is doing it. And then the swelling just went all the way up my leg over the next few days. So that was the first one. But my podiatrist was great. He was just on the phone to me all the time, like giving me advice and telling my team how to strap different parts of my body up. So yeah, there was the ankle, then my knee got really stiff. So, you know, like if this is your legs, you know, your knee should be able to do this. And my left leg was still able to do that. And then my right one was just like this. It was terrible. So that, it was a few days into it, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to stop the run altogether. But we managed to get an acupuncturist to come out to the camper van at the side of the road and work their magic. And they fixed me, which was amazing.
Gosh.
I know, I felt like so many times there was just like a guardian angel that would appear and fix my body. So he was the first one that came out, and then something else happened in the North Island as well, that I had an injury. I can't remember what it was now, but someone else came out to the camper van at the side of the road to fix me. Yeah, and then as I came past home, my IT band and my thigh was just like super tight. That was causing me a lot of pain, and again, almost back to walking. And a physio that I've actually just been to see today, I didn't know her until this day when she volunteered to come out and treat me.
Oh, brilliant.
So she fixed me up, strapped my leg, and I was off running again. And then the worst one, that was the second to last day before finishing, which I'm still struggling with now. I'm not actually able to drive at the moment, and I'm not really walking anywhere because I can't move my ankle very much. Just this bizarre swelling came up on the front of my ankle, and a pain that kind of came over a few days. But then on the second to last day, I was trying to run, and a shooting pain would come from this lump on my ankle right up to my knee. So then I was back to walking, and I'd try and run maybe like 100 meters, and this shooting pain would come up to my knee again. And like the pain was getting so bad, it felt like a lightning bolt coming up from the ground, and it was almost throwing me to the ground. And it was just stressing me out so much, because I was just thinking, I'm gonna have to walk. I couldn't run. And again, an osteopath came out to help me in a place where we don't know anyone, and they just offered to come and help, put some needles in my leg, sent me on my way, and I thankfully managed to get back to running the next day.
Isn't that amazing? The skill of these people, when you're feeling so broken, to do what they do to get you back on track. And you know, to be from, you know, one day we can't run to the next where you are again, and not only running again, your last day you did 133 kilometers. So, it's not just, oh, can you get me ready for the Father's Day race, please? And 100 meters. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I just think, you know, like you said, the human body is capable of so much. We're only scratching on the surface, I think.
And like you say, if you can get your mind ready and you know, that mental strength, and you think, right, I'm going to do this, and a lot of it is that, you know, if you have that sort of determination, then you can do so much. And that is incredible. Was there anything that unexpected that you learned during the event that you weren't expecting?
I think the thing that, what I wasn't expecting was the huge amount of support, and especially the enjoyment that people got out of my suffering. I guess it's not just my suffering, it's just the event, the whole, I guess it's a journey, isn't it? And it was not just me that was on the journey. People all over New Zealand and actually all over the world were invested in my journey, and they really wanted to see the best for me.
Yes.
From people messaging over social media or donating online, to people coming to the end of their driveway to cheer me on because they're following the tracker and they see that I'm approaching their driveway and they come out and cheer. For small children to make signs that say "Go Emma," and their parents just drive them out to the road in the middle of nowhere and they just stand there and wave their sign. We had farmers come out with chocolates for us on their tractors on Christmas Day. So many people found a huge amount of joy following my journey. I think that's the most unexpected thing, and just the amount of people that were following. I guess I thought I was just gonna run the length of the country and people wouldn't really notice. But they did, and you know what, they noticed at the times when I was struggling. So there'll be times where I'm just thinking, I don't really want to be doing this. The traffic is insane. I feel miserable. Everything hurts. Feeling like I want to break into tears at the side of the road. And then a child would appear with their sign saying "Go Emma," and I'm like, oh, I can't.
Such a boost. But it's like you were saying, guardian angels appearing at different times. That in its own right gives you an incredible boost. And I was reading on your fundraising pages, some people have fundraised where it's the child, so they've gathered their pocket money and that's what they've donated to you, and it's it's really amazing because you sort of touch so many people at different ages. And I think the fact that you're supporting youth mental health, and there's been a lot of posts, people thanking you for doing that and for looking after the youth. And I think because of your own challenges when you were injured, you've got a real compassion and sympathy for that journey that you've been on too. So that is another reason why people have got behind it. So it really is amazing.
It was really nice. I had lots of different people join me to run, and lots of people that were running with me felt really comfortable to open up and tell me about their own experience with either youth mental health problems or their own mental health problems. And I think that's just such a great thing as well, just that people feel they can open up and talk about it, because that's a big part of the problem, isn't it? People not speaking. So
and again, it's posts that I've seen where people have said that they've said, like, I've struggled with mental health as a youth, or I still do. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And it's just very, very humbling that what you've done has touched so many people. So well done you. So a few more questions. How do you feel now that you've completed the challenge?
It's still a bit of a blur. So obviously I feel extremely proud and incredibly impressed with my support team. But it's just a bit of a blur. So I keep looking over the photos and videos and hoping that it'll come back to me. And I don't really know what I'm expecting, really. But like I said, there were so many obstacles to overcome along the way. I always knew that I would get to the end, but I didn't know what that would look like, whether it would be walking, whether it be with crutches, or I knew I'd get to the end. I never doubted that at all. I just didn't know how it would look. So to be able to get to the end running and under 21 days is just amazing. I'm so impressed that I managed to do it with the obstacles that we overcame along the way, because there were many.
I think you can and should look back with such pride. And Yeah, there is hours and hours and hours of footage to look at. There's millions and millions of positive messages. So you know, it's brilliant. You know, I think you know, taking your time to fully recover and enjoy, you know, all of these special moments is, you know, the least that you deserve. So you know,
Yeah.
immense pride I think so many people have for you, so you should feel the same. And they say to do it within 21 days with what was thrown at you is just amazing. So I'm sure that this is far too early to ask you, given you've only just done it, but are you going to do something like this again?
I don't know. My answer's always been no, but
Yeah.
then, you know,
But
you build
now
back
it's
up.
don't know rather than no.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I have just seen that. So the woman that has the world record for cycling the length of New Zealand,
Yeah.
she's just about to set off and embark on another world record that is the circumference of the South Island.
Okay.
So then I was like,
running it or cycling it?
cycling it.
Okay.
So she's got the world record for cycling the length, and now she's about to cycle that. So obviously I've got the world record for cycling running the length.
Yes.
And now you start thinking,
Too soon. I like it. Your brain's already thinking. And of all countries, New Zealand is not flat. It's very mountainous.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so again, congratulations on your achievements. It's amazing. And yeah, absolutely smashing the Ultimate Challenge 2021.